The Fyre Festival, a saga of deceit and corruption, by Martian Gassner. The two words that define Fyre Festival for me are criminal and unorganized. We will be looking through the lens of communication and the theory of active listening by analyzing the features of a communicative event shows how active listening could positively impact the event planning process. My three supporting points are: 1, the dangerous level of disorganization at the Fyre Festival, the corrupt and criminal nature of the founder, Billy McFarlane, and finally, the filth and the attendee experience. These photos are just to give context to the event, or what was promised of the event. My first point is the lack of planning and foresight, as they started around 6 months before the event, and they should have been planning for a minimum of a year beforehand. The coordinated ad campaign of multiple influencers and musicians all posting the orange tile really created a splash on Instagram for the Fyre Festival. But the accommodations were absolutely terrible.
Now let's get every influencer that has 1 million followers or more to post this orange tile on a specific day and time. You've seen this orange tile from all of the biggest influencers on Instagram.
Another one of those influencers to post the orange square was Kendall Jenner, who was actually paid a mind-blowing $275,000 for just that one post. But while these posts did create a lot of excitement for the festival, they also began creating a lot of confusion. It made it seem like all of these models were actually going to be attending the festival, when in reality, they weren't. But the promotional video was basically just a bunch of shots of these hot models in bikinis on the beach, showcasing the crystal clear water in the Bahamas. It also created a lot of confusion because the video featured no actual shots of the festival site or setup. The video also stated the best in food, art, music, and adventure, which, as we would later find out, was definitely not the case.
Looking at the online promises of the venue and the accommodations versus the reality.
Around 500 guests were now stranded in the Bahamas, and I wish I could tell you that there are at least 500 readily available tents.
I mean, this is just crazy. There's like 50 tents that are ready, and all the rest aren't.
This is not what we signed up for. Sit.
Oh my God. They're soaking wet.
Let's now take a closer look to the corrupt and criminal nature of Billy McFarlane. He started his card-based membership club, Magnesis, by simply printing his debit card on metal, and then inflated the numbers of his subscribers.
And the idea for the Fyre app came when I was talking with Ja after he performed at a Magnesis concert, asking why he had rejected our previous offers, and he had no idea what I was talking about. So we built the Fyre app as a way to allow buyers to just contact artists and talent directly through technology.
So Billy and Ja Rule set out to do something that had never been done before: host a music festival on an island in the Bahamas. And not just any music festival, but they wanted to make it an adventurous getaway vacation straight out of a dream. So they originally decided to host the festival on Norman's Key, an island in the Bahamas formerly owned by the famous drug lord Pablo Escobar. Now, while I mentioned that Billy was an entrepreneur, and a pretty good one at that, neither he nor Ja Rule had ever done anything close to the size of hosting a music festival, not to mention the fact that it's on a deserted island in the Bahamas. But they were confident they could do it, when in reality, they really had no idea what they were doing.
Here is a clip where Billy admits to lying, and where his workers are urging him to cancel the festival.
So did you at the time knowingly lie to the backers to get their backing?
I knowingly lied to them to raise money for the festival, yes.
So during this time, Billy was able to bring in more investors every day in order to pay off the next problem at hand.
So we had something called the Urgent Daily Payments document, and basically it was this Google Excel sheet that I'd wake up to every morning, and essentially it was a list of payments that we had to make that day or else the festival couldn't proceed. That was kind of the instructions that the team had in that document. So bank wires close outgoing at 4 o'clock. So I wake up at 9, I have, a few hours to get the money in and a few hours to get the money out. And in the couple of months leading up to the event, it went from a couple $1,000s a day to a few $1 million a day, where I had to wake up at 9 in the morning, find $3 million by noon, and then make the payments by 4.
However, there was still no way they were going to be able to put on this luxury music festival as they had originally advertised. Realizing this, the production team once again insisted that Billy begin to start posting actual photos of the tents in the festival site, since the guests were going to find out sooner or later, and to let people actually see what they are in for, and then let them decide if they still want to come or not. However, once again, Billy declined and basically fired everybody who advised against him.
Here is a video of how Billy treated the island workers.
American rapper, singer, and actor Ja Rule, also known as Jeffrey Atkins, is in the Bahamas with his business partners to discuss the details of a concert next month.
Everybody was saying, hey, that's Fyre. They have lots of money. They could do anything.
So we hope this is the first of many steps to bring entertainment and bring talent back to the Bahamas.
This was supposed to go on for 5 years every year. So if you do good, you asked for 5 years, you got the contract, so you wanted to live up to the expectation.
A lot of people didn't get paid. A lot of my workers didn't get paid.
I went through about $50,000 of my savings that I could have had for rainy day. And they just wipe it out and never look back. Personally, I don't even like to talk about the Fyre Festival. Just take it away and just let me start a new beginning.
Now, looking at the level of filth and the attendee experience, it is so disheartening to see and realize how one person can cause all this harm. Billy, lacking the self-awareness, had the Fyre Festival marketing team take down questions from social media channels.
Guests were starting to get very eager and began asking very legitimate questions on social media, such as flight information, where they are actually staying, etc. The questions were flowing in all over the comments, and many guests began getting very angry at the lack of answers. The Fyre Festival account actually then began deleting these negative comments, before finally turning their comments completely off.
I think the festival was coordinated poorly from the beginning, prioritizing influencers and marketing over producers and people with experience. Having the founder be a corrupt individual with no morals also did not help. The degree of mismanagement with food, shelter, and communication in general, I believe this matters as a communication professional because we must keep people safe.
So wrong. The Fyre Festival was billed as a luxury destination music experience with beachside parties, fancy bungalows, and food from celebrity chefs. But instead, this is what they saw. Thousands of festival goers arrived in the Bahamas to find deserted venues, barely assembled relief tents, and boxed lunches. Distraught attendees shared the scene on social media. You can see beds piled up outside of the tents, people sleeping on their suitcases, a completely unassembled concierge desk, and this is my favorite, cheese sandwiches that were served for dinner.
To summarize, Billy McFarland should never coordinate another festival ever again.